I hear singing in my spirit, and it's calling me back home to the place where I'm bound to be gone. I hear singing in my spirit, and it's calling me back home. Sounds of life. Come back home. Work on the bed, land is done. Come home.
Well, welcome back to part 2 of the Porch sessions here at the Neal House in Hattiesburg, Mississippi with Davis Coen. Man, awesome tune. Really, really great, man. I really appreciate you doing that, man. I feel like I was riding along with you.
Thank you. Great compliment.
Well, we were talking earlier, you know, one of the interesting things about so many of the musicians that we have on here is the fact that they at some point in their formative years, they were surrounded by music through either, you know, a grandparent or a mother or father, and you're exactly the same as well too, right? Both of your parents were musical or are musical.
That's right. Everybody in my family is music. All my cousins, elders, all the above. My mother was an elementary school music teacher. My dad was a kind of behind the closed door musician, which had the most influence on me. I used to have to sneak up and listen at his songs, otherwise I couldn't hear him because he'd just stop as soon as he knew somebody was playing. And he's a North Carolina native, so he kind of had somewhat of that influence.
And Appalachian, yeah.
I wouldn't say so much Appalachian. He would play on the piano a good bit, solo. But I think I learned my singer-songwriter kind of roots from him. And my mother was a piano teacher, like I said, so I think I maybe learned what little discipline I had with music from her, just being kind of structured and such, and learning how to read a little bit on the piano and things like that. But I don't think it was till I moved to the Mid-South that I really kind of embraced what it was to be involved in, you know, Southern culture and Southern music, and I realized all the music that I did like when I was young came from the Mid-South, and not exactly the Appalachian and the Piedmont areas. And I made a good connection, and the music from Memphis, the music from Mississippi, I think has been the strongest influence, because I think it's always been a good culmination of all type of cultures put together, which is, you know, something that I try to portray in my music. I never try to stick to one thing. I just try to represent everything that's prominent and good about Southern music, and they call Americana.
Sure.
Is a term that they use a good bit, or roots and things, but I think it's just music of the people, music of expression, music that makes you feel good, regardless of the name blues, which is a loaded term. I think anybody that really knows the blues knows that it makes you feel good, not bad.
Well, you know, I think it's so interesting how much differentiation there is in the music of the South. You know, you hit the nail on the head, like, you know, the Appalachian versus the coastal versus the Piedmont versus the Hillcountry. You know, it's all so different. It's all Southern, but I think, you know, and it's cool that you're exploring all this here. And it must be really interesting too, because like when you travel, I mean, you've done thousands of gigs, or at least 1,000 gigs, right?
I tried to estimate it here some years ago. I think I'm up above the 2,000. I'd say that in the most humble way, considering that my hands are half janked out. I got an index that doesn't work, and not to mention other kind of calamities that
casualties of the road.
Yeah.
You must hear some great conversations when you're in these bars, and you must meet some really
yes, indeed.
Colorful. Is that a good word?
That might be a decent term for it. Sometimes you get the blade on the bar. I mean, if you really want to talk about the darkest moments, but I just try to take everything in stride and just soak it in. You know, if something hits your, you know, artistic, funny bone, sometimes it might come into a song, but for the most part, I just try to suck in things, and maybe later on it'll turn into some kind of inspiration. So
you got a song kind of about this, right, called Good Conversation?
Good Conversation is a song I wrote a while back. I recorded it on an album from about maybe 7, 8 years ago. I felt that I didn't record it quite right, so I redid it again on the current album. It just kind of captured the essence of me living in South Carolina through my 20s. And again, I try to sometimes do a time capsule of, you know, certain points in my life, and just a little thing. My intention for writing songs, mostly just to remind me, hopefully, if I should continue to live on for years at that point in my life.
That's great. Your personal snapshot.
Indeed. Some folks got them little diary under the bed or under the pillow.
You write a little song, right?
But I got my songs.
That's cool, man. Well, we'll be right back with more good conversation and the song Good Conversation with Davis Coen here on the Porch Sessions in Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
The Keg and Barrel is the premier craft beer bar in the state of Mississippi. We feature 120 different craft beers with 60 on tap. We were included in Draft Magazine's Best Beer Bars in the Country in 2010 and 2011. We have the only draft engine in the state pouring pints of old world style local beers. We have an extensive pub menu featuring local source products from scratch. Come grab a pint at 1315 Hardy Street, east of the Hattiesburg Zoo. Cheers.
Start me off with some good old conversation, just enough to help me get through the night. I'd here give myself to you for temporary consolation. Without hesitation, I'm bound to do you right. Walls are thumping, the earth underneath your spell. Caught it humping what I do for my southern belle. Am I having a good time? Well, it's about the same as the last. Without a weak feeling I'm dying, I'll always snap back fast. All in that good old conversation. Sure been good for me, but it's last call to see my baby doll. Can you call it bare naked or body hugging silhouette? Just to lay beneath the jacket's got a blast of lipstick red. Not extraordinary, raw reality, it's tight, but it's cool. Stands out from the ordinary, your lingerie attitude. All in that good old conversation. Sure done well for me, but it's last call to see my baby doll. If you wanna walk her home, wait outside till everyone leaves. If you believe it's a bag of tricks, see I ain't got no sleep. Don't ask me, is this a line I'm trying to pursue? I ain't something that you learn at the program after school. Before you get too tired, better quit while it's at the peak. And hope you don't forget what you first set out to see. All in that good old conversation. Sure been good for me, but it's last call to see my baby doll. all that good old conversation sure done well for me, but it's last call to see my baby doll.